What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. It is Monday morning right now, about 8 a.m. my time, and I've woken up, checked the charts, and it's not looking too juicy. The Bitcoin price has broken down from this symmetrical triangle, and definitely it's not looking like the best of times, especially for a Monday morning. That's not what you want to see when you wake up in the morning. So in today's video guys, I'm going to jump into my computer, back to my desk. We're going to break down exactly the analysis of what's happening, and we're going to take a look at 3 key news articles which are shaping potentially what is happening right now with Bitcoin. So let me go back on over to the desk and let's jump into the charts. Bitcoin just broke down, and in the last 12 hours alone, we've had 3 separate pieces of news hit the market that most people haven't even connected the dots on yet. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how the chart pattern is playing out, walk you through every catalyst that's fueled it, and tell you exactly what I am doing for the next few days. Let's get into it. Before we do, guys, drop all your comments down below, of course, to enter to win $100 every single Monday. The more you comment, the more chances you have of entering and winning on my videos. Also, if you're in the UK, USA, or UAE, please do not comment or interact with my content. It is not directed at you. And of course, I am not a financial advisor. I'm just someone called Jack in his room making videos about crypto. So let's get into it. Let's take a look at this chart, because first things first, before any of the news broke, the chart was already telling us that something was wrong. What you're looking at here is a rising wedge pattern or a symmetrical triangle on the 4-hourly chart. And I want to be clear what this actually means, because many people throw that term around without explaining it properly. The price is making higher highs and higher lows. On the surface, it looks bullish, but look at the trend lines. They're converging. Each move up is smaller than the last. Each bounce off support is getting weaker. That is not strength. That, my friend, is exhaustion. Buyers are running out of steam while sellers are just simply holding their ground. The lower trend line was the line in the sand. Every time the price touches it, the bull stepped in, it bounced again and again, and every time it did, it got more confident that it would in fact hold. That is in fact the trap, because when a rising wedge breaks, when the lower trend line finally gives way, here's what happens mechanically. Everyone who bought the bounces inside the wedge now has their stop loss triggered. Those stops become market sell orders. Price drops, more stops get hit, and more sell orders flood in. It basically just cascades, and it cascades fast. The measured move target for a rising wedge breakdown is back to where the pattern began. It's also aligning with key horizontal support, which has been significant going back to early February. That's the zone I'm watching to the downside. Now, the chart called it, but what actually pulled the trigger? That's where the news comes in. Before we do get into the news though, guys, I do want to give a shout out to Bybit and Weeks. Of course, if you see the links down below, you'll know that they're having amazing deposit bonuses. Now, Bybit, if you deposit $100, you're going to get $20 back to trade with. And Weeks, if you deposit $100, you're going to get $25 back to trade with. These are amazing bonuses with just a small deposit, so you can start trading and get a little bit of a boost. And of course, I'm not a financial advisor. Always consult one. This is not financial advice. The links are down below. If you do wish to use them, they are there with the bonuses attached. So in the last 12 hours alone, there have been 3 separate catalysts that have hit this market. And the reason this dump has been so aggressive is because they all landed at the same time. The first one, and this is the one that caught my attention immediately, is Bitdeer. Now, Bitdeer is a publicly listed Bitcoin mining company, and overnight they announced that they have liquidated their entire Bitcoin reserve. Every single coin, around 943 Bitcoin sold. Corporate holdings down to 0. Now, think what that actually signals in the market. Miners are of course, the people who produce Bitcoin, and they're close to the network as you can get, pretty much. And when a miner doesn't just trim their reserves, they sell everything. It means not only do they not believe the prices are going to go higher anytime soon, that rather it's going to crash. And that is, of course, a serious vote of no confidence. In the near term, price action and the market has read it exactly that way. The second catalyst, which I want to talk about, 5 consecutive weeks of Bitcoin ETF outflows. Again, I said that in yesterday's video. Spot Bitcoin ETFs have now recorded 5 straight weeks of net withdrawals, totaling around just below $4 billion, pulled out of the market. And alongside that, retail search interest for the phrase Bitcoin is dead has also hit a near all-time high. At least something is having an all-time high. We need at least some positivity, guys. Cast your mind back to early 2025, the same ETFs that were pushing the big bullish story, BlackRock, Fidelity, billions flowing in week after week, pushing the price higher. Now the same institutions are quietly reducing their exposure. And when the big players are heading for the exit, there isn't buying pressure to absorb it. The floor just isn't there right now, unfortunately. And the third one, more speculative, but of course it's spreading fast, is of course the 10 a.m. rumors. So there's a persistent rumor in crypto that basically large institutional trading desks have been running a coordinated playbook, placing heavy sell orders around 10 a.m. Eastern every single day, triggering panic in a low liquidity window, of course, when the market opens, forcing leverage longs to liquidate and then accumulating at lower prices. Jane Street has been named in these discussions. Of course, this is allegedly. They disclose a position over 790 million in BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF. And now these are just allegations, of course. They are unverified. I'm not saying it's definitely happening, but it's the rumor in the grapevine all over X. And these patterns have been flagged repeatedly by market observers going back to late 2025. And now it's worth being aware of. Watch the clock if you are trading next time, 10 a.m. Eastern, and see what happens. Now, these three catalysts do explain the timing of this move, but to understand why Bitcoin is this vulnerable in the first place, you need more macro context, in my opinion. So Bitcoin peaked at 126K, we know, in October. We're now down 46% from that peak, and 5 consecutive monthly red candles. The fear and greed index is sitting at 14. Previously, we saw it at 5, which is just unheard of, deep in extreme fear territory. And these are macro forces that have been building pressure for months. Also, the Fed, the nomination of Kevin Warsh as the next Fed Reserve Chair triggered a significant risk-off move across all of the markets. Warsh is known as an inflation hawk. His appointment signals tighter monetary policy, higher rates held for longer, and less liquidity in the system, which we need. And when borrowing gets more expensive and money gets scarcer, speculative assets get sold first. Bitcoin is still unfortunately classed as a speculative asset by most institutional traders, regardless of the digital gold narrative, which we love. Of course, don't forget geopolitics as well, guys. US-Iran tensions have escalated meaningfully, pushing investors into a defensive posture across global markets. Many people are saying on Twitter, of course, don't believe everything you see on Twitter, that something major is going to happen with US and Iran this week. Of course, people are scared and they pull their money out of the market. When there's actually genuine, potentially geopolitical fear, capital moves into dollars, bonds, traditional safe havens. It doesn't just stay in crypto. And notably, even gold has been struggling pretty much in this environment. That tells you how genuinely risk off the market is right now if gold is struggling. Going into this sell-off, futures and perpetual markets were showing elevated open interest. A lot of traders were leveraged long, expecting a continuation. When the price started to fall, these positions became vulnerable very, very quickly, forcing liquidations to hit, automated sell orders flooding the market, and each liquidation price pushed lower and triggered more liquidations. Over 2 billion in positions were wiped out last week, and that's the mechanical reason why the moves have been so sharp. Bloomberg summed it up pretty well this week. As much as some people don't like them, Bitcoin has fallen more than 40% since its peak, and the usual playbook for Bitcoin isn't working. Dip buyers have vanished. That's the environment we are trading in. So let's talk about what actually matters. On the downside, the measured move from the rising wedge breaks the points back of the original of the pattern. You can see that clearly on the chart. It's also sitting close to $60,000 zone. Of course, it's been a significant psychological and technical support level throughout the entire sell-off. Below that, analysts are pointing to around $56,000 on the head and shoulder structure that's been forming on the 8-hour chart. And below that further, 50K is the next major level being discussed. I'm not saying we're going there, of course, but we have to be aware of these levels. For the recovery, and this is the important one, Bitcoin, honestly, it needs to reclaim $70,000 and the monthly VWAP, which is essentially the average price by weighted volume. And it's where institutional costs basis is actually sitting. Until the price gets back up to that level, there is no real point about talking about a recovery. And here's something worth mentioning. Van Eck published analysis this week pointing that Bitcoin is currently trading at a distance below its 200-day moving average that it hasn't seen at any point in the last 10 years, not even during C19. Of course, not during the FTX collapse as well. That just shows you at what kind of point in the market we are sitting in. So That's the full picture, the rising wedge setup, bit deal liquidation, and the 5 weeks of ETF outflows and institutional selling the rumors were the catalysts. The hawkish Fed, of course, the chart movement towards the downside is definitely not looking good as well. All of this stuff goes ahead and triggers a downsell, a push towards the downside, and that's what we're seeing in the market right now, guys. If you didn't enjoy this video, it's still 8 a.m. I need to have some coffee. If you did enjoy it, then definitely drop a like down below. I really would appreciate that. And comment, of course, to enter the giveaway. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in the next one.